I've been a social worker for 33 years, mostly in the Houston area, working with catastrophic injuries, primarily neuro rehab. I know in the group, it's one of those first things we talk about because it is consuming with those feelings. You know, caregiving brings out a lot of distress. Where did your journey start? For the caregiver, it started with a phone call or a rush to the hospital or something, and someone saying, hey, they may not make it, but do you know, and they're needing to make all these decisions for you who is injured. And the main person you want to talk to is the person who is injured, and you can't. And you have to make all these decisions, and it's all about maybe does he live or die, or does she live or die? And so that's where the caregiver's journey started. For someone who's had a brain injury or even a spinal cord injury, because they're oftentimes sedated, their journey starts when they wake up or when they become more responsive in whatever way and have more reality of what happened. And so, they're getting all this attention. People are visiting them. They're starting to make this recovery, and I'm going to fight through, and I'm going to get back 100%. Well, here's somebody who's also more fragile because they actually witnessed how fragile you were, how delicate of a situation you were in, and how much it could have just all disappeared. And the patient oftentimes doesn't have that. They were told about it, but they didn't experience it. So they start at a very different spot. And so then you need to kind of look at what gains have you made, not what's lost, and that's hard, you know, that glass half full versus glass half empty. So all that negativity can also be more about depression, about anger, about guilt, about being overwhelmed, about being exhausted, and not necessarily negativity, like, why are you doing it that way? It can be. And so it's so important to have that communication, that having that permission to talk, to be able to be very real about what we're going through. And you know, I've always tried to empower both the patient as well as the caregiver of being able to say, okay, this is going to have to work for both of us. This sucks. You know, neither one of us wanted to be in this situation, but here we are. So we're going to have to try and figure out how to make the best of it. I am going to need to sleep sometime, and I get you're in pain. So how are we going to manage that? Because I can't do it, and I don't want to be one more of your problem, and I'm sure you don't want to be for me either. I don't want to be a burden, but they may not know that they're so negative. You know, they may not know it, but so in a caregiver group, we can talk about knowing yourself, knowing those cues. We talk about that all the time. What are your signs of when you need to do self-care? What are the signs of your body? You know, you're not sleeping, you're overeating, or you're not eating enough. You stopped exercising. You're irritable. You're angry at the littlest thing, makes you more upset. You're exhausted. What are those signs that tell you, wait, I need to do some self-care? So think about like a catastrophic change like this, an all-consuming life event. That's a lot to process. So being able to let them know, also, it's going to take time. It's any relationship, you have to nurture it. You have to work with it. Any relationship has to. And they are being asked to do it under a lot of stress.